Hello and welcome to another wonderful episode of So You Think You Can Fanon. There's only two of us here today, and the person I'm here today is not Matt for once.
It's me, Kai.
Yes.
Dasunya.
Dasunya. And today is kind of a day where we got screwed over. No one is here. Michael is,
as you can see,
Michael is gone into the ether as usual. Jake is working. Matt is
also in the ether,
beating up some architects, I guess.
Using the tire iron.
He's using the tire iron to beat up some architects who moved his building 5 inches.
Yes.
So, what we have for today is not Chain of Memories, you new readers who only know how to read Chain of Memories. We do other things on this podcast. We do
a lot more.
Requests from an audience member from Youmacon.
Yes, courtesy of our What the Fuck Is This Internet panel.
Guy man person went to our...
You know who you are.
Yeah, you know who you are if you're listening.
Front
Guy man
row
person
man.
Was at the... Yeah, front row. Guy man person. He gave us a few suggestions. The first one of these that we are going to start with, because they're kind of short, so we can do this episode, is Getting Around the Block by Sasho Cicerone.
I don't think that's how that's pronounced.
I don't care.
I like it.
This is a Death Note X Tetris fanfiction. The description reads, Mello knows he must have gone insane, because there's no way this could really be happening. And if it did happen, it would happen to Matt.
Rest in peace, Matt, who's not here.
I guess we'll have to ask Matt if this happened.
Yes.
This is the epitome of, this happened to my buddy Eric.
This happened to my buddy Matt.
Spoilers. Minor spoilers for the second half of the series. No warnings. No underage readers.
Get out of here, under 18s.
Yeah,
Get out of here anyways. Stop listening to us.
Please stop listening to our podcast, underage people. This is a podcast for children.
No,
rated,
not at all.
It says rated M for a reason. Sexual activities, swearing, sexual activities that could count as non-consensual, depending on the reader's perspective.
Okay.
And the unfolding of events. Pairing, object X Mello. Additional notes. All canon Death Note events previous to this have happened as normal. Disclaimer, I do not own Death Note or Tetris, and I do not make any money from these writings. Which one of us wants to narrate?
I guess I'll narrate. I've never done that before.
I guess I will be Mello.
Okay. Who else is in here? Matt. And is Matt, or is Matt the Tetris block?
No, Matt is not the Tetris block.
Okay. Does the Tetris...
Wait, hold on. Is Matt a Death Note character?
Maybe. I don't remember. I feel like I would have remembered someone named Matt.
Yes, Matt is a character in Death Note. He is Mello's friend.
Wow, congrats, Matt. Okay. I guess I can be the narrator and Matt.
I also thought this was about Nier. I don't know why. In my head, when I heard Mello, I was like, "Oh, this is about Nier."
Because Nier is better than Mello. That's why.
They both suck ass.
They do both suck. We want L back. Spoiler alert.
The show said I ended halfway through.
Yep, totally agree.
All right,
but let's get into this.
Yes.
Mello couldn't remember how he'd gotten to where he was. And that was a bad, bad sign. As were his surroundings. What he saw around him was completely and totally insane. His first... Off to a great start. His first thought was...
Shit, I've been drugged.
His second thought was...
Kira wouldn't need to drug me. He'd just write down that I'd have bizarre hallucinations and then die at the end, after he'd had his laugh.
And his third thought was...
I didn't expect Tetris blocks would have such an odd texture.
Because there was no doubt about where he was. He was inside a Tetris game, stretched out on a series of shaped blocks that were soft, firm, and oddly slippery all at once. Each Tetris block was roughly the size of a person. Mello was watching another Tetris block descend in jerky motions, twisting above him as it constantly repositioned itself, glowing a soft blue. It was obviously not some sort of prop descending on wires. The area was brightly lit, and no wires were visible. Besides, it had already made in-the-air motions too complex for anything other than special effects to handle. It was clearly not real life or anything remotely possible. Furthermore, the spatial qualities of the place Mello was in were just crazy. There was a kind of frame that held the Tetris blocks, frame that was visible wherever the blocks themselves didn't block his view, both in front of him and behind him, under him and above him. I'm getting confused, but not as much as Chain does. But the other two directions didn't have proper walls or any sense of horizon or perspective.
What he's referring to is like when you're holding the Tetris block like above and it's like creating like an after image of the block, I think is what it's trying to refer to.
Okay. Kind of weird. There's simply a black nothingness to the right side and the left in the directions that would be into the screen or out of the screen on a video game. He experimentally thrust an arm into the black nothingness that would be out of the screen and watched his hand disappear there, but entered from the opposite direction. No, this was not an elaborate set of some kind, a colossal joke. It was an actual hallucination. A goddamn fucking hallucination, Mello thought.
I hope Matt got away. Well, if Kira's giving me this kind of shit, he probably has me confused with Matt. Did Kira think all the information referring to Matt was actually referring to me in disguise? Either way, I don't think I can do anything about it now.
There was an oddly languid feeling in his limbs, a jittery, stretch-out sensation of having spent far too much time awake while tracking the movements of various people, few of which did anything interesting. At the thought of being defeated by Kira, Mello could feel in his gut not the anger he expected, but an intense emotion of simply not caring at all about anything. He felt incredibly detached, unmotivated. Sounds like a Wednesday night for me. All the stress had completely shot his nerves. He knew that. He could feel it. Every part of him was worn out. Also a Wednesday evening for me. Every action had become just going through the motions, working so very hard, spending hours upon hours holed up in various tiny shithole apartments with Matt, staring at screens with surveillance videos that continued to show almost nothing useful hour after hour, day after day. He laughed, laying there wondering if anything was worth it anymore, his indecisive mind refusing to even contemplate getting out of the way of the descending blue block, which would soon directly land on him. He laughed again and thought,
fuck Kira. Fuck him.
And then, to his surprise, despite the feeling of utter indifference that still pervaded his whole body, he tasted salty tears. He ran his tongue around his lips and savored the taste carefully, as if he were investigating a new kind of gourmet chocolate bar. Just then, the blue Tetris block landed on him, squirming on top of him, trying to dislodge him from the cozy hollow that he was draped into between an orange block and a purple block. Mello kicked viciously at it and said,
fuck you, man, I like this place. Let me die in peace, you fucking fucker.
As if the block had understood, but disapproved. It only became much more vigorous in its efforts, grinding against Mello in the most annoying way. He kicked again with both legs at once and abruptly realized his boots were now missing as his bare feet connected with the softly glowing, strangely slippery blue block. A split second later, he realized that it wasn't just his boots. All his clothing had somehow dissolved or poofed out of existence. And that block grinding against him was beginning to feel really good. Warm tingles gathering in his crotch area as his breathing sped up. Some part of his mind wondered what was really happening, whether Kira or someone employed by Kira was doing this to him, or if it was pure. But then he realized he just didn't care. He did not fucking care. He just wanted to get off, to relieve the stress, to have something that was mindless pleasure for once and to not think about it. He grabbed the block in both hands and tried to rub against it, enjoying the slick friction, feeling himself hardening, developing a throbbing need between his legs, arching up onto the block. But the block was unruly. It struggled, slipping out of his grasp and still trying to shove him out of his nook by sheer force. It knocked Mello off balance, and before he could regain it, the blue block roughly shoved him forward against the orange block. His legs caught in the gap between the blocks, and his ass in the air. The blue block forced him down, rubbing against his back and his butt and the backside of his legs. Somehow, it was even better this way. The orange block that was underneath and in front of him had the same delectable texture for him to rut himself up against. And at the same time, the blue block was invading him from behind as it attempted to ooze into every gap and crack to fill it up. Mello felt the slippery, soft yet firm texture gently penetrating him from behind, tentative and exquisite, almost like a pair of lips and a tongue. It was spreading him, rubbing and rocking, beginning to lick him deep inside. He wanted it. He could feel everything down there, excepting this thing inside him. Mello wanted to explore far inside, to completely invade him, and it was going so deep, warm and wet, and wriggling inside him, touching a place that made him want more, and made him sweat and rock desperately and whine as he felt his approaching climax, building to an incredible crescendo, a tight hot heat driving relentlessly upward as his hypersensitive insides were penetrated again and again by his inanimate lover. He pressed his face into the orange block and let out a cry as he released in a series of hot spurts, wave of pleasure moving through his entire body, giddy as if all his frustration from the weeks upon weeks upon weeks of boring stakeouts and mind-numbing sleep deprivation had simply snapped at that moment, and it was flowing out of him entirely, being replaced by a warm afterglow. He hoped Kira would have to clean up the mess. Mello woke up, draped across the couch, and semi-tangled with the cushions, in such an odd position that his first thought was that he'd need to see a chiropractor. His second thought was the realization that his own finger was stuck in his ass. His rapidly softening dick was sticky and lodged between two cushions, and his clothing was mostly off and almost hopelessly tangled around his elbows and knees. Matt was standing next to the couch with an expression halfway between amused and alarmed. Mello breathed slowly through his gritted teeth, trying not to inhale the sweaty strands of his long hair that were stuck to the skin all around his mouth. Matt said, around the cigarette. Okay, you read for Matt. I can't.
Okay, I heard it all. You were narrating the whole thing in your sleep, just mumbling and mumbling, a running commentary nonstop. Mello, you let a Tetris block fuck you. That's so surreal. I almost envy you.
Matt plucked the cigarette from his mouth and flicked ashes from the end, saying,
Dude, this sounds so much like something that would happen to me, not you.
Mello sat up and tried to collect himself with as much dignity as he could, which was almost nothing, considering the circumstances. His neck had a terrible crick in it, and he could barely untangle his clothing without falling over. He was torn between launching into a marathon swearing session or simply marching silently into the bathroom, cleaning up, and when he came out, letting it be known that the subject would never be mentioned again. Matt grinned and said,
Well, I've been in a threesome with Birdo and Pyramid Head. I've also had Samus somehow magically impregnating me with chocobo babies while Silent Snake holds me down and shits on my chest.
Suddenly, Mello didn't feel at all ashamed.
What
also,
the fuck?
is that another fanfic that this author has written? That sounds like way too specific.
If we read the author's note, well, like most of my weirder one-shots, this was inspired by a request on the DN_kink meme on LiveJournal. I don't know what to say about this except that sometimes things get very weird, and that Matt's dreams are completely brain-breaking sick scenarios. For example, if anyone actually tackled the task of writing Matt/Solid Snack/Samus Mpreg scat, then I think a gasket would blow my brain, and I would ever afterwards be a gibbering idiot. Although I suppose what Matt claims in this fic is up to the reader's interpretation. Perhaps Matt is lying, just to make Mello feel better.
I hope somebody made it so that we can read it.
I don't want to read that.
I mean, okay, what's your thoughts on this? Because I didn't really want to read this, but it was actually kind of hilarious.
It is, well, you should have said something before we started recording. It was...
I'm kidding.
It was, well, yeah, I didn't want to hear any of that either, but, it was well written.
Yeah, it was oddly well written, I don't like that.
Oddly well written. It was funny. Clearly this wasn't serious. He said it was a prompt.
Yep.
This is one of those ones where it's like, I don't want to go banger fan fiction, certified hood classic, but it's just, it's one of those ones where you go, hey, did you know about the fan fiction where Mello fucks a Tetris block?
Yes.
It's a schlock.
It's schlock.
It's exploitation.
Yep, I agree. My life is not better, but also probably not worse for having read this.
I could have gone my entire life.
I could have gone my entire life without reading this too, but I'm saying, like, it's not a complete life ruiner, if you know what I mean. Like, there's some fanfics that I just feel dirty after having read them.
Uh-huh.
Or listen to you guys read them too. Like, Jesus and Hitler, I don't know. My life is worse for knowing about that.
I love Jesus and Hitler.
It ruined it ruined my life, okay? It ruined my life.
Alright.
But this is not a life ruiner. It's just like, I don't know. It's kind of interesting that it exists. I don't really understand why it exists. But thanks for the recommendation. It was hilarious.
Yes, it was definitely something. Next up, because we've only elapsed like 15 minutes, we have another fiction that was recommended to us, which is Snape meets the Teletubbies.
I have a feeling this is going to be another one of those, not the worst thing, but not the best thing ever.
I will narrate this.
All right.
Would you like to play Snape?
Sure. I don't know if I can do a good Snape voice, but we'll see.
Okay, let me... Hold on, I think... Can I fix the light?
Can you?
I'm trying to check these, No, you cannot
change. If you make the text just bigger, it helps.
Oh, yeah, if you click, like, the T button and hit expand, it makes it a little bit...
Okay, yeah, that is... Okay, it's marginally better.
Marginally better. Snape meets the Teletubbies. This had to be the worst day Snape had ever experienced in his entire life, which was a really long time. And he experienced quite a lot of terrible things. He was going to be late for his potions class, the one class that if her messed up, he would be humiliated for the rest of his life. The class with those menacing boys, aka James and company. He was running as fast as he could, not looking where he was going. If he had been paying attention, he would have heard someone saying, Plotholius Ardagus. Unfortunately, being the stupid idiot that he was, he ran into the plot hole. Normally, a plot hole would be an easy thing for a wizard to fix, but this is Snape, so of course it couldn't be done. To his dismay, he found himself where the grass was greener. The sky was beautiful, clear blue, and the sun had a smiley face. He stared at the sun for a moment until he started to see spots turning into hot pink fluffy bunnies. He shook away the hot pink fluffy bunnies and looked around, wondering where he should go.
Now, where is the potions classroom? I could have sworn I was going the right way.
Snape said to himself. Just then, he spotted a green and red creature. That actually begs the question of when did, who's the guy who played Snape? Alan Rickman. When did Alan Rickman start sounding like Alan Rickman? Like, was he coming into freshman year sounding like Alan Rickman? Maybe. I have no idea. Food for thought. Also, rest in peace. F in the top. Yes, rest in peace. Just then, he spotted a red and green creature. They were quite strange looking. Small heads, large bodies with strange obstructions on their heads. Snape was confused at the act they were pursuing. The one with a stick obstruction on his head was thrusting the stick into the other's obstruction, which seemed to be a round hole. Snape figured they were performing some sort of sexual act, so he let them be to go over to a purple one with an inverted triangle obstruction. Excuse me, but what exactly are you? Snape asked. Me, Tinky Winky Teletubby. Could you tell me how to get to the potions classroom? Snape asked. Hug, said the Teletubby that was beginning to resemble Peter Pettigrew the more he looked at it. It immediately began hugging Snape affectionately. As soon as Tinky Winky said, hug, the other Teletubbies came fluttering and hugged Snape until his ribs cracked. Get off me, you barbantuic things. The Teletubbies' eyes started to fill with water as they looked at Snape with puppy dog faces. You hurt Lala's feelings, the yellow Teletubby said. You hurt Poe's feelings, said the red one. You hurt Tinky Winky's feelings, said Tinky Winky. You hurt Dipsy's feelings, said the green one. Snape stared at them blankly for a moment, then picked up Tinky Winky by his inverted triangle.
Listen, you prat, tell me where the potion's room is, or else.
Snape threatened, and Tinky Winky just gave him a grin and exclaimed, "Let's make tubby, custard, and toast." The Teletubbies started chanting, "Custard, toast, custard, toast." In frustration, Snape used an orgasmness spell on all of them, until liquid poured out onto the grass from their obstructions. The Teletubbies jumped up and down happily. Tubby custard, tubby custard, tubby custard. Then they proceeded to lick up the custard off the ground. Snape looked at the custard for a moment.
Hey.
Sorry.
Oh, I think that's Snape.
Yeah, that's
hey,
Snape.
That looks good.
He bent down and helped them lick it up.
Custardy.
He commented, "Toast, toast, toast." The Teletubbies chanted. They dragged Snape to a garden with toast flowers in it. They poured some of the leftover custard on it and treated themselves to some. Snape had a piece himself and drew extremely uncomfortable in his lower area. The Teletubbies started champing again. "Nap, nap, nap," they stated. They teleported Snape down to a room. By then, Snape was more than a little ill. He was shouting, "Kill the..." Oh, sorry. You got this.
Kill the Tubbies! Kill the Tubbies! Kill the Tubbies!
Over and over again, for the Teletubbies had driven him to insanity, and the Viagra toast hadn't helped much either. Suddenly, the Teletubbies' angelic smiles turned into sinister grins. They attacked Snape, ripping and tearing his clothing apart. They said in a low, cold voice, "Nap." Snape looked upon them with horror. The only words he could choke out were,
"Who are you?"
The Teletubbies grinned to turn their TV's tummies. The Marauders' faces appeared in the TVs. Tinky Winky's face was Peter's. Poe's face was Sirius. Dipsy's was Remus. And Lala was James. "Goodbye, Snape." They cackled and opened up another plot hole, throwing Snape inside. He arrived at the other side of the plot hole, twitching. A young girl came up to him and said, "Would you like to get this one?"
Yeah, I'll do it. "Hi, I'm Dora the Explorer. Would you like to help me on my journey to find the sticky tape?"
Snape looked up at the sky and shouted out in a silent cry.
No.
I like how you cut out there.
Oh, damn it. Hold on. No. Oh my god, it's still cut out. What the fuck? No sustained notes for me, I guess.
The end. Author's note. I have no idea what the Marauders have done to deserve this. Shakes head. I feel very sorry for them. It is Christie who wrote this. I am just the typist. Poor Marauders.
Damn.
I wasn't expecting... Oh, wait. This is a horror and humor fic. Mission accomplished.
Yes. Kind of horrific. For sure.
This was a lot different than I was expecting.
Me too. I was expecting, like... I don't know. Some really memey, like, polyamory. And this was not that. Mm-hmm. Maybe I should have read the like, genre first. I don't know.
No, I think that added to the, what do you call
the suspense.
Yeah.
Well, not much to say about this.
Yeah,
what was your favorite part? Of either fic, I should say.
I guess the end of it was my favorite. Cause
Not
I was
reading
like,
it anymore.
Just like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah. There was one part that, like, I don't know. I found it really funny. The like, orgasminous
Alright, sorry about
that. What the fuck?
It's Matt!
Did you guys not hear me join?
No, I didn't.
Nope.
Welcome to the episode.
Oh. Sorry, you guys didn't say that you were starting.
Should we read one more? Should we go find one more?
I guess let's read something else so Matt can actually be... Oh, we have Garfield effect.
We do have Garfield effect.
The what?
Exactly.
Garfield effect.
The what?
Check. Oh, I should probably stop putting these in fics if you can. That goes into fanfic links.
No, we'll continue these at some point. We'll read them again and again and again and again.
We finished those. So Matt, what you missed was Mello fucking a Tetris block, and
Snape getting raped by Teletubbies.
Oh no!
These were lovely suggestions from our viewers.
Oh,
from
they
Nova.
sure sound like it.
So next we have Garfield Effect Galaxy Adventure by Shakespeare.
Do I get to read this one?
Yes, you do. You can be the narrator.
Oh boy.
Garfield leads Shepard and crew to save Galaxy. Now updated with Chapter 19. Who would like to be Commander Shepard?
What voice does Commander Shepard have?
Generic main character, white guy with big burly voice. Or is this female Commander Shepard or male?
I don't know what gender Commander Shepard this. Yes, it is a guy. Because the elusive man, which is spelled wrong, says the ultimate man.
Okay, I will be Commander Shepard.
Alright, for
Commander Shepard. Yes.
Yeah, I will be the elusive man, which is supposed to be the elusive man, but...
Yes, you're making allusions to things.
Yes.
So like you are alluding to the fact that this is spelled wrong.
Yeah.
Commander Shepard was talking to a elusive man in the Normandy spaceship about important missions.
Commander Shepard, you need to fight the collectors and save humanity.
I will do my
Said the elusive man with conversion.
Oh, conversion. I will do my mission, but it is difficult and perilful.
Said Commander Shepard with hesitation.
Yes, you do not have the manliness to do this mission alone, so I have defrosted the ultimate man, Garfield, from cryogenic slumber to lead you to victory.
Said the elusive man with pride as he pointed to a mysterious figure. Garfield entered the room with a manly strut, ready to take on supernovas.
Matt, would you like to play Garfield?
The only thing I hate more than racists is collectors. I'm gonna slam them into outer hemispheres, said Garfield, head held high and fist pumped with justice. I must first examine the crew to see if we are ready for space battle, said Garfield with knowledge. Garfield marched down the plank of the ship, examining his crew with intentions.
Greetings, Garfield. I am Miranda. I am your first officer. I am here to help you fight collectors,
said Miranda, checking out Garfield muscles. Hey there, sweet bumps. I would like to get into your collectors, said Garfield with flirting.
Not now, Garfield. We have an important mission ahead,
said Miranda, face blushing with rainbow colors. Oh, sexy face. Will you at least make me nice lasagna meal? Said Garfield with hunger in his heart.
Even though I am woman, I do not cook. You will have to go to the mess hall, said Miranda with regretfulness. Garfield, stum red, into mess hall in search of lasagna nutrition. Chef, I will have lasagna sandwich. Save the ice, ordered Garfield to the mess sergeant. Kai, would you like to be mess sergeant?
I'll do it. I am sorry, Garfield. Lasagna is rare galactic delicacy. It is only on the Citadel,
said the mess sergeant with deep sorrow. Bombasted Garfield with appalling shock. Galaxy is at stake, and there is not even lasagna for nutrition. Head to Citadel at once, ordered Garfield with righteousness. The Normandy sped to the Citadel at highway speeds. That's 75. When it approached the Citadel, the brakes were slammed so it could park. Garfield then entered the Citadel with Miranda to search for lasagna.
The Citadel Council might know where there is lasagna,
said Miranda to Garfield in a serious tone. Then we will go there and demand satisfaction, said Garfield with urgency. Garfield and Miranda hurried to the Citadel Council and bust in, interrupting a meeting. This is galactic emergency. Me and my crew need lasagna delivered at faster than light speeds to us, declared Garfield with invigoration.
I am sorry, Garfield. Blue Sun's mercenary stole all of the lasagna.
You're really taking another role from Kai, bro.
He was mess sergeant.
Okay. Said the council with worry. I will break their bones with fists of fury. raged Garfield to the cosmos.
They are outside preparing to take the lasagna to headquarters. Maybe you can catch them,
said the councilman truthfully. On hearing this, Garfield stormed out with purpose and headed to the docks like a cat greased with lightning.
Look, Garfield, they are taking the lasagna,
cried out Miranda in helplessness. Do not cry, woman. I will get the lasagna, declared Garfield with manly determination. Garfield approached the menacing mercenaries and glared at them with eyes of retribution. Halt, villains! Surrender your lasagna or face doom, roared Garfield with fiery rage.
Ha ha, Garfield. The collectors hired us to steal this lasagna. Your stomach will be empty forever,
said the Blue Sun's leader, with no actual descriptor. Fool! I will pry that lasagna from your cold, dead fingers! Exclaimed Garfield with booming voice as he launched into furious attack.
Get him and defend lasagna with mind, body, and stomach,
said Blue Sun's leader to his henchmen, again with no descriptor. The henchmen fired at Garfield with raging guns, but Garfield did a cartwheel through them, splitting them in two. Another henchman tried to fire Garfield, but Garfield backflipped in back of him and broke his neck with velocity. It is just you and me, Blue Sun's leader, said Garfield to the Blue Sun's leader with intimidation.
Please show me mercy, Garfield. I only stole lasagna for money,
begged the Blue Sun's leader, no descriptor. I am the garbage man, and it's garbage day, said Garfield with slick style as he grabbed the Blue Sun's leader and threw him in a garbage compactor. With all Blue Suns gone, Garfield took the lasagna back with him to the Normandy and was called by the elusive man.
Good work, Garfield. Now that the crew has lasagna to fuel war efforts against
said the elusive man with admiration of Garfield. All in day's work, said Garfield casually as he walked out. As Garfield walked down the hallway, he noticed Miranda approaching him.
Garfield, you fought with sexiness today. I would like to see you in your quarters later,
said Miranda dreamily. Sure thing, honey stacks. I'll look forward to our meeting, Garfield said with romance. Later that night in the captain's cabin, Garfield put his best love songs from the 70s, 80s, and 90s CD in his CD player to put the mood on romance. Miranda walked in with sexiness and romance on her mind.
Garfield, you are like man I never met before. You make me wild like I'm dying. Oh my god.
You make me.
Oh, no. I got it. I gotta give me some. You make me wild like a hog on the hunt. Yet I don't know if it is right,
said Miranda with concern. What is the matter, Miss Miranda? Are you scared? Asked Garfield sassily.
I am worried you are too much man for me to handle, said
Miranda with honesty. Do not worry, it will be gentle. Like chef putting lasagna in the oven, said Garfield reassuredly.
Then Garfield, let us make loving until the sun comes up,
said Miranda with lust in her eyes and face. With these words, Garfield and Miranda embraced and made loving all night long with the energy of 1,000 galaxies. To be
a beautiful
continued.
Love story.
What the fuck?
I'm fucking horrified that there's 19 chapters of this.
I love this.
Very funny. Very funny indeed. This has to be a troll, right? Like, this was written intentionally to be funny.
No, this has to be
a troll. You would not
I'm
write...
impressed that there's 30,000 words.
Oh, me too. But you would not write the with X thing at the end of pretty much every sentence, unless you were.
Yeah, no, that's so consistent. It just has to be a joke.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Well, I'm glad I got to be here for that. That was something else.
Do we want to read another one, or do we want to wrap?
Let's wrap it up. I unfortunately have something I've got to get to pretty soon. I was honestly wondering what the hell was going on in here, because I just didn't know if you guys were recording with me or without me.
Well, now we're recording with you.
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
Also, I think we have something special for our viewers. Maybe coming up. Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe next Monday.
Yeah.
Shall we reveal, or are we just going to be vague about it?
We may just need to be vague.
I think we need to be vague.
So I'm not sure if you guys have looked at the author of this Garfield fanfiction, Shakespeare Hemingway.
I have not.
Nope.
He is obsessed with Garfield.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I just clicked on it.
Garfield with the Galaxy Infinity Wars. I love this this first sentence. Chris Pratt was flying through the stretches of space with his Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh god, I just
Yippee-ki-yay,
skimmed
wild and free, wham bang shang-a-lang. That's Star-Lord right there.
I just want to point out the one-line dialogue shtick, that might have been just bad writing on this author's part, because if you go to that funny shit, his Garfield meets Joaquin Phoenix is much more verbose and far more intimidating.
Wow.
Allow me to read you an excerpt. Garfield jumped into Lady Pile and thrust his pleasure pike into yawning mouths and woman craters, making them scream with glee. Garfield and ladies became one, molding into mass of liquid love and fleshy meat. This is intimidating.
Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta read the author's notes to this Garfield Joaquin Phoenix. They are, author's note, if Joaquin Phoenix is reading this and wants to make a movie on my story, that would be okay. Author's note 2, if Jennifer Lawrence, Margot Robbie, and Scarlett Johansson are reading this and would like to date me, that would be okay. Author's note 3, if Jimmy Kimmel is reading this and would like to invite me on his show, that would be okay.
That would definitely be okay.
This is this guy human? Do you think this is made by a bot?
Maybe. I hope so. I honestly hope this is just like a
Zero Dark
Garfield
Garfield, where Garfield takes on Osama bin Laden.
Yes, I saw that. We should return to this author.
Here, I'm just gonna put this whole author in fix to be continued.
Yes.
And I'm going to only note it with Garfield.
When we need our Garfield fix again.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be at least once a month. Getting our Garfield.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's all coming together.
Alright, so...
Unfortunately, it seems like this is a mostly dead author.
Sad.
Wrapping it up?
Yes, so wrapping things up. We will hope to see you on, actually, now that I think about it, first, disregard what I said about the surprise that might come earlier, depending on when this episode goes up, because I think I'm going to have this, I think we're going to do the Chris Chan episode this Friday, and then have this one come out the next. So, time's going to be fucky with this episode, so please disregard any of these plans we're making, because they probably will have already occurred. Also, I love you.
We love you.
Kai, do you love them?
I love them. I love them all. Desunya.